Hello YouTube, it's me again, and today I'm going to be reviewing an album that came out recently by one of my favorite underground heavy bands. This band is Defiler from California, and I think if you're into like deathcore, I think they're a good choice of a band that you should look up. Basically, I'm going to be reviewing my favorite tracks of the album because if I spend time reviewing all of them, it would just get kind of monotonous, and overall, I think it's something that just doesn't need to be done. So here we go. The album opens with a song called Lucky 38. And I think it's a great way to set the mood for an album. I personally believe that if you're going to be recording an album, you should have the first track be like very representative of the whole album. And with this, Defiler really does it. It has a really heavy chugging riff that really is setting the tone for the whole album, so to speak. And overall, I just think it's a great opening song for anybody that likes deathcore. And therefore, I think it makes the whole album seem a little bit more accessible than just jumping into a really fast, heavy, chugging riff with Jake's just obnoxiously awesome growls, like, over it. Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah. The next song is one called The Regulators, which actually has a pretty catchy chorus, which is uncommon for deathcore bands. Most of them are just like, breakdown, really fast riff, breakdown, really fast riff, more melodic riff. And guess what's next? Breakdown. This one actually follows a more standard verse, chorus, verse structure. Of course, there's breakdowns. It's fucking deathcore. So, if you're not into deathcore, album's not for you. But if you're into deathcore, I think they're more on the technical end rather than the more just like immure end. And so I think, and it's a lot more melodic, and it actually incorporates slow melodic parts into the album. So I think overall, I think it's more accessible than their first album, Pangea. Okay, next up is the first single of the album, and that is called Walk in the Glow. Let me just tell you, I heard this band a few years ago when I was hanging out with one of my friends, Cody Esworthy, and it was the song Chiromancer. And the first thing that really struck me was like, it opens up, it's just like this really heavy fucking riff, and I'm just like, holy shit, because like I used to be a big deathcore fan. I used to like more deathcore than I do nowadays. And, I had like a standard just like breakdown, breakdown, technical verse, breakdown, breakdown. There wasn't really like any chorus to it. This song though opens with like an almost Slipknot-y snare, like whispered vocal thing, which is just like, to me, I first heard it and I was like, oh my god. Like I was digging it from the second I heard it. So of course, I was just kind of like, all right, this is going to be another Defiler song. And then it goes in the first riff, which is really melodic, heavy, like, it's a breakdown, but it almost isn't in the sense that it's very, like, more reminiscent of not deathcore bands, rather more just like straight metal bands. And this is actually the first song that I ever heard by them that incorporated clean vocals to an extent. And so, like during the chorus, it's this really deep, melodic, just like, it's really creepy actually. I like it a lot. And then it goes into one of their signature technical parts where Jake Peltz, the screamer, is just going insane. Like almost rapping, which is kind of cool. Like, I like both rap and metal, so it's like, to me, I'm like, best of both worlds! Woo! Like, you know what I mean? And so, then it repeats the chorusy part, and basically the song's over. But I think it's very, very, very good. Okay, I honestly have no idea how to pronounce the title of the album. It's really weird, but I will post a link to some of the reviews in the box below. And so if what you hear, if you're like, wow, this sounds like a band I'd like, then help you find a new band. And so you can go read the reviews, and then you can go on iTunes and buy it, or somehow acquire the album for those of us that like to do less legal things. I actually bought this album though. I was proud of myself. But anyway, so the title track of the album starts out, it's an instrumental, first and foremost, which I think is amazing. Because I'm coming from a background where if you look at the posters behind me, I got a System of a Down one, and I got a Slipknot one, and one of my favorite bands of all time is Dream Theater. I'm very into progressive metal, and so hearing an instrumental track for a deathcore band is kind of what throws them out of the typical loop of deathcore bands to me. So this song is really melodic. It starts out with a clean guitar intro, which I think is pretty cool, and then goes into a very open melodic part that's kind of reminiscent of I Am Waves, not Oceana, and like more volumes, like more genty progressive music, which I think is really awesome for a band like this. And this band is very young. They're like, I think when they first wrote their album, like the last one, Pangea, I think they were like, the oldest member was 17. That came out like a year and a half ago. And so, I mean, props to them, man. Like, they're the same age as me, and they're writing crushing shit. So, I like them a lot. The last track I'm going to review has the screamer from Immure on it. If you know me, outside of my YouTube channel, I don't like Immure at all. They're very repetitive and they make me sad. But in this song, I was listening to it and I didn't know at the time that Immure screamer, Frank, was in it. And so I was listening and I was like, that sounds like the dude from Immure, just because I've heard the songs, because I used to be in the whole deathcore scene. So obviously, if you like enough deathcore bands, you're going to hear Immure, sadly. But I heard it and I was like, wow, that sounds like him a lot. I did some research and it turns out to be him. Because on the iTunes version of the album, didn't include the guest vocalist, but whatever. And so I heard this song and I was like, hell yeah. Like, he actually, in the song, I think it fits well. And so, ending on that note, I think it's a very solid album. I think they might be the next big thing for deathcore. They might be the next up-and-coming stars, so to speak. And I really hope this album blows up, because I think more people need to know their name than they do right now. And so, I would give it, on a scale of like 1 to 5 stars, I'd give it about a 4.5. The only thing that I think they could improve is I would like to see their guitarist is very, very, very good. But I think that if they included solos or incorporated more parts that were more like melodic death metal, I think he would shine through a little bit more. But that's just, again, my opinion, because I'm very into Children of Bodom, Between the Buried and Me, Nightwish, Firewind, music like that. They have very catchy choruses, very shreddy guitar solos. I like Yngwie Malmsteen. Basically says everything you need to know. So, I think that's about it. I would definitely recommend buying this album if you are a fan of the deathcore genre and you are kind of bored of what's going on and you want to taste something new. So once again, this is Kevin Miner here, signing out. Stay rockin'.